Several indications abound that Bitcoin could be entering or confirming a bearish phase. Let's break down the news and talk about it. What is up, everyone? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight we are going to talk about the things in the news as it relates to Bitcoin. Sometimes you have to turn the charts off and stop staring at the screen and consider the things that are going on around you out there in the world of crypto and finance. Things happening around the world and within the U.S. government in order to get a good idea of what could possibly be happening next. Now, of course, none of this is financial advice. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt, do your own research, and let's just discuss some of these things that I've got on my bullet points on my list that's over here that you can't see, that is on my computer screen. So I'm going to put the glasses on and we're going to start out with the first item on the list, which is the FOMC meeting tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. I think that's, is that Eastern? I can't remember what the time zone that is in, but whatever the case, the FOMC meeting is going to take place, and it is expected that we are going to see a 25-point basis rate hike. Now, I think it's at around 80%. And so the big question is that priced into the market already or not? Right now, we're looking at BTC in kind of a bearish state. It's looking very weak. Prices have been settling down a little bit ever since that great big old pump that we had a few weeks ago. A big run, actually. It ran for quite a bit. And now we're starting to flirt around with that black dash line that I always talk about on my technical analysis, which I will have a chart update for you in the next couple of days. After we get the announcement, maybe I'll follow up with a report about the chart. All right, so the Bitcoin daily transactions are at an all-time high. However, the price is starting to sink a little bit. What does that mean? Now, it's a great thing that we've got an all-time high on transactions. It's getting used. We've got utility. That's a big positive, a very big positive, but it doesn't guarantee that the price is going to be at an all-time high at the same time. I mean, let's think about this. I mean, right now, the stock market is looking really weak. We had that big dive that happened with the, is it the S&P 500? I don't remember which one. One of the indexes just took a steep dive right after Janet Smelling Yellen said that the federal government could default by or run out of money by June the 1st. And that news was not received very well by the markets. So that leads to my next big question. Is crypto going to diverge finally from the stock market, or is it not quite time for us to see the big divergence? Now, what about what's going on with the banking sector? There's a lot of heat happening. We just had one major bank collapse and a buyout by JP Morgan of that bank, where the feds are eating half the cost of, what was it, 41% of deposits that were lost. So that's in the billions of dollars, where JP Morgan is going to split that 50-50 with the feds and covering the amount that was lost. That was with, what's the name of the bank? The one with the eagle on it. Well, whatever the case, the banking crisis might not be over. There are rumors that the contagion is going to spread to mid-level size banks, and we haven't seen the end of it yet. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Now, that could be positive and negative. It could be positive as people will withdraw their money and drive that into the one thing they can trust that can't be taken away from them, which is Bitcoin. But it could also cause problems with new investors not having ways to onboard money into crypto. And if people are losing across the board and these bank failures lend to a recession, that's going to slow down the amount of activity that we see happening on the crypto exchanges. So we'll have to wait and see how that affects crypto. All right, next, will the futures market for Bitcoin futures, will that cause some volatility after this Fed announcement? Now, two things could happen. When you're set up in a situation where everybody is overly bullish, you'll see a long squeeze. And a lot of the longs will get liquidated. They reverse the price and tank it. When everyone is expecting Bitcoin to fail, to capitulate, to drop down, well, then you see a short squeeze and price gets sent up to the moon. Some are saying that there may be enough volatility after the announcement tomorrow that the futures market could cause a short squeeze or a long squeeze. What do you think is going to happen? Type in the comments if you believe we're going to see a short squeeze or if we're going to see a long squeeze. Now, if the price is already in, if the 25 basis points has been priced in, that doesn't mean that it will automatically have no effect on futures. So we're going to have to wait and watch what effect that this has on the futures market. Now, next, there are some reports that we have a bearish divergence on the charts for Bitcoin, suggesting a 25,000 short-term price target per on-chain data. Now, this is being reported by CryptoQuant. You can look that up on some of the crypto news and see what they have to say. But they're thinking that we will drop down to 25,000. Now, there's plenty of other people like Gary Soloway who think that the ultimate bottom or final touch before we catapult off into the bull run is 12,000. Others are saying no, 25,000 might be the bottom. Let me know what you think. Do you follow Gareth Soloway's prediction of a really deep bottom? Or are you more of the type that thinks that this kind of talk is going to get people left in the dust waiting for that bottom as Bitcoin bounces off of 25,000 and then moves on? I'd sure like to hear your opinion. I think it's going to be somewhere in between myself. Now, here's a couple other things that are bearish in the short term. Number one, Binance Exchange had its largest single BTC deposit ever that happened last week. Now, you would ask, well, why is that bearish? Well, here's the reason. When people take their Bitcoins off of their ledger, let's see if I can find mine. Here's my ledger wallet. I'll show you what one looks like. This is a ledger wallet, okay? And so my coins are not on this. I've got it all loaded up and ready, but I'm waiting for ETH gas fees to lower down before I move my coins to this ledger wallet, okay? And you can turn it on just by pressing a button there. And see, now it's lit up and I can go through and look at all of the options for what coins can be held on the ledger wallet. Not everything can be, but this is where my Bitcoin is going to be. Now, if I want to sell, I'm going to take it off of this ledger wallet and send it to an exchange where I can sell it, because you can't sell Bitcoin while it's in cold storage. So if you see Binance reporting that the Bitcoin deposits or the Bitcoin deposit that happened last week broke the record for the largest ever, that means somebody is probably sending it to the exchange to sell it on the open market. So that will tend to have a negative impact on price. Now, conversely, the silver to Bitcoin's gold, which is Ethereum, also saw a pretty large deposit coming into Binance in the amount of $505 million. Now, this coincides with a few other reports that I'm seeing that altcoins are going to take a beating very soon, within the next few days after this FOMC announcement. You can only take those things with a grain of salt, but when you see someone sending $505 million to the largest exchange in the world, it kind of validates that point. Last, but certainly not least, Bitcoin miner activity gives a hint of what is possible to happen, what possibly can happen here within the short term. The Bitcoin miner reserves, how much they hold in reserve, has taken a very sharp drop in the last few days. How big of a drop? Well, it's as big as the drop that we saw when FTX imploded. Now that's significant. So that means that they are possibly setting up to unload. And sometimes it can mean that they're going to unload that Bitcoin into a feeding frenzy as the price is going up because they're taking profits. But at other times, it can mean unload while you can before the price goes lower. So when you combine this news with everything else that I read, I'm thinking that the Bitcoin miner reserves taking a sharp drop is a bearish indication. So that's kind of what took my attention tonight in the Bitcoin news. And let me know if you enjoy these generalized news reports and hearing my opinion about what's happening in the world of cryptocurrency. Coming soon, I'm going to talk about fiat currency, the US dollar, and how our money supply, the whole economy of the United States and money as we know it, it doesn't exist. And I'm going to draw a comparison to throwing your life savings. Let's say if you had a piggy bank full of change and then you dump it out on top of the Hoover Dam down into the river below. That's kind of like what's happening when you put your money in banks. So that's to come. Look for that. All right, post your comments below. Tell me what your opinions are on some of these topics. And last but not least, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And if you would like to help defray the cost of the production of this channel, you may do so with the giving of a super thanks. And I thank you in advance for that. So that is all that I have for now. And until next time, this is Carlton, and I'm out.